Good afternoon and welcome to Season Hour, the platform where we speak truth to power. I just wanted to just show you this broadcast by San Femi Falana. Basically, he said NNPCL, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, fixing fuel prices is illegal, contemptuous, says Femi Falana. I agree entirely with everything he said here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take this time to remind you again, you're watching Season A, the platform where we speak truth to power. We urge you to please go ahead and subscribe to Season A on YouTube, hit the notification button, give us a thumb up. You can see there, to that side as I'm looking here, you can see that there is there's a little sign telling you about the subscription. Or just go there, subscribe to Season A on YouTube, help us grow the platform. We really appreciate the support. So going back to the main issue here now. NNPC has no powers to fix that the price of the oil. Very much very much what has been. I agree very much with what San Femi Falana has said here. Now let's go into this a bit more detail and read that story in depth. So let's go and read that. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana criticized the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited for its adjustment of the pump price for premium motor spirit or petrol from around 5,500 liters, 500 naira to 617 per liter. Right? Okay, so now Femi Falana was reacting to NNPCL's seemingly overnight price hike on Tuesday, which saw the second impromptu petrol price under 2 months, coming from a ballpark price of 185 naira in May. In a statement on Wednesday, the senior advocate of Nigeria noted that President Bola Tinubu, in his inaugural address in May, announced that his administration would govern the country in accordance with the rule of law. He cited the federal court judgment, which held that the combined effect of the Petroleum Act, listen now, Price Control Act, and the Constitution of the federal government must always fix the price of petroleum products sold in Nigeria. According to him, the federal government was dissatisfied with the judgment and filed an appeal at the Court of Appeal. Even though the appeal has not been determined, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has usurped the power of the federal government to determine and fix the prices of petroleum products in the country, Falana said. They've usurped the powers of the federal government, the NNPC. You know, we've been saying this. And who's the head of NNPC, by the way? This is a company actually carrying out a crime. Melekari is actually carrying out a crime. So let me get this picture out so that we can see him. Where is it again? 1 second, please. So I just want to get you to see what we're talking about here. So here. Okay, so that's the man in question. That's the man in question there. Let me just make it smaller if I can. I might get a smaller picture, a better picture. We'll see. We'll see what I'll do. Okay, hold on. We'll go for this picture. I want a better picture of it. No, I want you to have a better picture. I'm not interested. I'm not happy with that picture. So here we go. There we go. I think this is going to be better. Yeah, that's Melekari. So that's Melekari right there. So when we're reading the report, you know what we're saying. That's Melekari. So he's talking about that, and because he's the CEO. So it says here, even though the appeal has not been determined, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has usurped the powers of the federal government of Nigeria to determine and fix the prices of petroleum products in the country, Falana said. It is undoubtedly clear that the action of NNPCL is illegal and contemptuous since the judgment of the Federal High Court on the matter has not been set aside by a higher court. So that's what I'm trying to really get you to understand. So we need to really focus on the lines here. Listen to these words. Even though the appeal has not been determined, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has usurped the power of the federal government to determine and fix the prices of the petroleum products in the country. Falana said. They've usurped the powers of the nation, and this is where you come in. This man here has usurped the powers. This is where you come in. And I keep saying it. We have the solution to the problem. We are the people to whom sovereignty belongs. Not to this man, not to Tinubu, not to anybody. Collectively, sovereignty belongs to us. It states so in the Constitution, and I want you to really exercise these powers. Yes, we know the Constitution itself is fraudulent, but the powers therein currently, until such a time as it's reviewed, we need to use those powers. 14.2a, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this Constitution, derives all its powers and authority. And of course, Section 14.2c, the participation by the people in their government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution. These are powers that I urge every citizen to memorize and begin to use. We can recall the government of Tinubu, call all of the elected officials, including Tinubu, call them, get them to come to our local communities. We go and call your local government chairman, state House of Assembly members, House of Reps, senators, governors, call them to town hall meetings and tell them, show them this particular section and say, this goes against the law. We do not want the price fixed by a corporation, a limited company. It's against our laws. And those in power, Tinubu, failing to change those things, shows that he has got no interest in helping we the citizens. So please, when we're talking about this, I need you to really focus on the powers here. I'm not going to take too long. I want you to really understand that we must exercise these powers. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Citizen Ewa, the platform where we speak truth to power. I wholeheartedly support the comments made by senior advocate Femi Falana, where he talks about the fact that, and I'm going to put it here again, even though the appeal has not been heard and not been determined, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has usurped the powers of the federal government to determine and fix the prices of petroleum products in the country, Falana said. So, and it is undoubtedly clear that the action of the NNPCL is illegal and contemptuous, since the judgment of the Federal High Court on the subject matter has not been set aside by a higher court. So until such a time that that's been set aside, the government must comply with the law. But because they're not doing that, we must insist, using the powers that we have, because sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this Constitution, derives all its powers and authority. We must instruct the government to actually tell, to overrule what the NNPC and the boss Melekari, to overrule it. We must overrule it. As a matter of urgency, we must overrule it quickly. We cannot leave it any longer. We must overrule it. Yeah, that's him there. We must overrule it. We must overrule what he said here, because what is done here is actually going against our laws. And we, as the sovereigns, we must exercise those powers. But we exercise it by collectively participating in the governance, starting in our local government areas. What are your thoughts on what we just heard? You are watching Citizen Wide, the platform where we speak truth to power. We have the problem is, of course, Melekari and what the government has been doing with the fuel subsidy. The solution is we, the people, actively participating in our governance, using the powers we possess on a daily basis, and holding our governance to account at every stage, at every level, every corner. And by participating in the governance, we shine a light on our governance that makes it impossible for anybody to come and carry out corrupt practices. That is why I encourage us. Let us participate in this process. Begin to actually question them. We are mandated by law under the Constitution to participate in our governance, because we are sovereign and we have the powers of sovereignty that we must use. I encourage us all. Let us begin to be members. If you are in any local government area, you have to make sure that you're a member of a local community association. You have to make sure that you have a copy of this printed out on all the walls, of the community association. Make sure that you teach this to our children. primary, secondary, federal, university, and beyond. They know their rights. We need to begin to exercise those powers. These are powers that are more powerful than the Bible and the Quran combined. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts? Leave a comment. Let's hear from you. You are watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to the power. I'll be back later on. Please do share this broadcast. Help us reach more people. Don't forget, go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY on YouTube. How do you do that? Let me show you. Just give us one click. Here you go. Subscribe to Citizen AY. Hit the notification button, and of course, give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Share the broadcast. Leave your thoughts as well. It's really, really important to hear from you, because what is going on now is really unjust. It's not right. This is an illegal act, and the government is not willing to, is not even prepared to even challenge that and actually uphold the rule of law as stated until such a time that the higher courts pass judgment to throw out the current judgment. They should abide by it. That is what rule of law is about. But rule of law is not operational in Nigeria, and that is where we come in as citizens. We must, as sovereigns, exercise the power of sovereignty. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria. Collectively, all of us, we must participate in this process. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through its constitution, denies all its powers and authority. That's you and me. We must actively participate. As it stated, the participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Principle of the provisions are that we are sovereigns, and as such, we have the powers to question everybody and indeed come together and demand that the government do our will, do our bidding. But we must be actively participating in our governance on a daily basis. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. One thing I'd like you to say, I'd like to do before I go, please, I'd like you to keep it locked on Citizen AY. Citizen AY. Citizen AY. Citizen AY. Citizen AY. One more time.